Well, good evening. The time is 5:06. I'd like to call to order the tentative millage and county budget hearing for September 5th, 2023. At this time, I'd like to recognize the county attorney's office to provide proof of hearing notification.
Yes. Good evening, sirs. We have affidavits of publication, and we are proof and ready to go.
All right, very good. At this time, I will now hereby open the public hearing this evening on the fiscal year 23-24 tentative millage and budget for Lee County. If anyone in our audience is here for the purpose of contesting their assessment, they should contact the Lee County property appraiser. Tonight, we're holding the tentative millage and budget public hearing as required by Florida statutes chapters 129 and 200. The hearing will be conducted as follows. The board will first convene as the Board of Port Commissioners and proceed as follows. Budget presentation by the Port Authority Deputy Executive Director. Public comment for tentative Port Authority budget. This will be your only opportunity to comment on all budgets the Board of Port Commissioners has authority over. There will be no other opportunity during this hearing to provide comments on the Port Authority's budget. Board of Port Commissioners discussion and motions, and then adoption of the fiscal year 23-24 tentative Port Authority budget resolution with any appropriate changes. Following that, the Board of County Commissioners will reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners and will proceed as follows. We'll give a brief overview of Lee County's fiscal year 23-24 proposed budget presented by the Assistant County Manager and CFO. We'll have a presentation of Lee County's total budget by Assistant County Manager and CFO, including the discussion of the percentage increase in the millage over the rolled back rate needed to fund the budget and the specific purposes for which ad valorem tax revenues are being increased according to Florida statutes 200.065 parentheses 2 parentheses E parentheses 1. Presentation of the special taxing units proposed tentative millages by the MSTU project manager. Public comment on all budget issues under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. At that time, that'll be your only opportunity to comment on all budgets the Board of County Commissioners has authority over. There will be no other opportunity during this hearing to provide your comments. Following public comment, the Board of County Commissioners may comment and then take action to move for approval of A, appropriate changes, B, a resolution to adopt the tentative millage, and C, the tentative budget. At that time, we'll then also consider special taxing units, tentative millages and budgets, consider countywide tentative millage and budget, consider library, unincorporated MSTU, and all hazards protection tentative millages and budgets, consider all other tentative budgets. Now, concerning citizens' comments, in order to expedite hearing from everyone, citizen comments will only be heard during the two public comment segments of this hearing, one for the Board of Port Commissioners and one for the Board of County Commissioners. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Please do not applaud or take any other actions that might intimidate or encourage or discourage a speaker. Public comments will continue until everyone who wishes to address the commission has had an opportunity to speak. And we will now convene as the Board of Port Commissioners, and I'd like to ask our Port Authority Deputy Executive Director to present the fiscal year 23-24 proposed budget.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, Brian McGonigal, nice to see you. Mr. Chairman, on page 3, I'm just going to read into the record these two paragraphs, if you don't mind. In compliance with Florida statute, a public hearing is being held today, September 5th, 2023, for the purpose of adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 23-24. The Board of Port Commissioners has acknowledged the revenue estimates necessary to fund the Port Authority budget for fiscal year 23-24. The Board of County Commissioners is now convened as the Board of Port Commissioners for adoption of this tentative Port Authority budget. The budget, as shown by the attached schedules of each fund, is now made a part of this resolution and is being proposed for adoption of the tentative budget of the Lee County Port Authority for 23-24. Commissioners, there were no adjustments in the budget since we last presented to you back in May and June. We did not make any changes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, the Commission will be pleased to hear any citizens' comments concerning the Port Authority's tentative budget for fiscal year 23-24. This is the only time to speak on the Port Authority's budget. Do we have any citizens who'd like to make comment? Okay, we'll close public comment. And this now concludes the public comment segment regarding the Port Authority budget. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative budget for the Port Authority for fiscal year 23-24.
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Ruane, second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do you have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGonigal.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners, and we will begin by asking that if any constitutional officer or any court-related services organization desires to make a budget presentation, please step forward to the podium one at a time to make your statements. Any constitutionals or court-related? Okay, I see none. At this time, we'll ask the Assistant County Manager and CFO to present the fiscal year 23-24 proposed budget.
This is the public hearing as required by Chapters 129 and 200 Florida statutes. Chapter 200 is amended, requires that a public hearing on the budgets be preceded by notice of the hearing. Such notice was provided by the proposed tax notice sent to property owners by the Lee County property appraisers, known as the Truth and Millage Notice. At this time, we will read the proposed millages, rollback rates, and the proposed percentage change from the rollback rate for the county's general fund, library, unincorporated area, MSTU, all hazards and special taxing units millages. We will then take public input, and after public input, we will return to the board for discussion and vote on the millages. These proposed millages are established to pay for the fiscal year 23-24 continuation budget. Commissioners, just briefly, this budget includes the budget and the tax rates are needed to continue the operations of the county. In this budget is a number of new permitting employees who were hired to help with the construction permits needed to rebuild from after Hurricane Ian. Spending was increased significantly for public safety in both the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Medical Services to both provide pay adjustments to retain and recruit employees and to maintain service levels driven by our area's high rate of growth and improved technology. The public transit subsidy also increased as federal pandemic funds from the last few years began to decline. Countywide millage. The proposed countywide millage is 3.7623 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of 3.3505 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage rate is a 12.29% increase from the rollback rate. Lee County Library millage. The proposed Lee County Library millage is 0.4714 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of 0.4213 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage is 11.89% increase from the rollback rate. Lee County Unincorporated Area MSTU. The proposed Lee County Unincorporated Area MSTU millage is 0.8398 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of 0.7506 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage is 11.88% increase from the rollback rate. Lee County All Hazards Protection District. The proposed Lee County All Hazards Protection District millage is 0.0693 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of 0.0617 mils per thousand of taxable value. This represents a 12.32% increase from the rollback rate. Municipal services taxing / benefit units. The municipal services taxing / benefit units allow communities to tax themselves to pay for added services such as streetlights, dredging, road paving, and landscaping. For those units that have citizen committees, the budgets for next year were approved by the committees, and the tax rate is a reflection of what is required to pay the annual costs. For those that don't have citizen committees, the county charges a rate that pays for annual costs while maintaining a small operational reserve for variances in revenues and unanticipated costs. I will now ask the MSTBU project manager, Josh Mallow, to read into the record the proposed millage rates, the rollback rates, and the percentage change from the rollback rate for each of the special taxing units millages.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Josh Mill, County MSTBU. I will be reading into the record the proposed millage rates. All right. Alabama Grove Lighting, MSTBU, or MSTU, a proposed 0.6 increase of 15.81%, rollback rate of 0.5181. Bayshore State Light MSTU, proposed millage rate 1.7, increase of 33.12%, rollback rate 1.277. Billy Creek Commercial Light MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.18. That is a decrease of 10.98%. Rollback rate 0.2022. Birkdale Streetlight MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.29. That is an increase of 16.94%. Rollback rate of 0.2480. Burnt Store Fire MSTU, proposed millage rate 2.63. It's an increase of 26.66%. Rollback rate of 2.0765. Charleston Park Light MSTU, proposed millage rate 1.65. That is an increase of 13.11%. Rollback rate of 1.4587. Cypress Lake Light MSTU, proposed millage 3.39. That is an increase of 18.04%. Rollback rate of 0.3304. Daughtry's Creek Light MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.85. That is an increase of 34.20%. Rollback rate of 0.6334. Flamingo Bay Light MSTU, proposed millage rate 0.38. That is an increase of 28.86%. Rollback rate of 0.2949. Fort Myers Shores Light MSTU, proposed millage rate 0.1865, increase of 24.25%. Rollback rate of 0.1501, sorry. Fort Myers Villas Light MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.2320, increase 11.48%. Rollback rate of 0.2081. Gasparilla Island MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.0495, increase 13.53%. Rollback rate of 0.0436. Harlem Heights Light MSTU, proposed millage rate of 0.5. It's a 3.86% increase and a rollback rate of 0.4814. Jaime Apollo Light MSTU, proposed 0.9, decrease of 2.51%, rollback rate of 0.9232. Henry Creek Light MSTU, proposed 0.43, increased 23.28%, rollback rate of 0.3488. Iona Gardens Light MSTU, a proposed millage of 0.6, increase 8.75%, rollback rate of 0.5517. Lehigh Acres MSTBU or MSTU, proposed 0.7460, increase 13.01%, rollback rate of 0.6601. Lockmore Village, Light, MSTU, proposed millage 0.65, increase 43.93%, rollback rate of 0.4516. Maravilla Fire District, MSTU, proposed 3, increase 12.11%, rollback rate of 2.6760. McGregor Isles Special Improvement Unit, proposed 0.5, increase 32%, rollback rate of 0.3788. Mobile Haven Light, MSTU, proposed 0.7, increase 14.49%, rollback rate of 0.6114. Morris Shores Light, MSTU, proposed 0.36, 32.69%, rollback rate 0.2713. North Fort Myers Light, MSTU, proposed 0.23%, increase to 25.34%, rollback rate 0.1835. Northeast Hurricane Bay, MSTU, proposed 1, increase 11.97%, rollback rate 0.8931. Page Park Light, MSTU, proposed 0.25, increase 26.52%, rollback rate 0.1976. Palmetto Point Light, MSTU, 0.55, that's a decrease of 60.84%, rollback rate 1.4045. Palmetto Park Light, MSTU, proposed 1.25, increase 12.9%, rollback rate of 1.1152.
Real quick on that one, was it an increase of 12.09%?
Correct.
Okay.
Pine Manor Light, MSTU, proposed 0.5130, increase 16.6%, 0.6%, excuse me. Rollback rate of 0.4420. Port Edison Light, MSTU, proposed 0.65, increase 123.83%, rollback rate 0.2904. Riverdale Shores Improvement, MSTU, proposed 2, an increase of 27.43%, rollback rate 1.5695. Russell Park Light, MSTU, proposed 0.63, increase 28.81%, rollback rate of 0.48991. San Carlos Island Light, MSTU, proposed 0.0950, increase 89.62%, rollback rate of 0.0501. San Carlos Special Improvement District, proposed 0.28, increase of 13.96%, rollback rate 0.2457. Skyline Light, MSTU, proposed 0.16, 29.76% increase, rollback rate of 0.1233. St. Jude Harbor Light, MSTU, proposed 0.25%, increase 18.65, rollback rate 0.2107. Tanglewood Improvement, proposed 1, increase 11.17%, excuse me. Rollback rate 0.8995. Town and River Improvement, MSTU, proposed 0.5, increase 84.30%, rollback rate 0.2713. Trail Winds Light, MSTU, proposed 0.43, increase 2.72%, rollback of 0.4186, excuse me. Tropical Isles, MSTU, proposed 0.56, percentage increase 21.69%, rollback of 0.4602. Usepa Island Fire, MSTU, proposed 4.7999, that is a 20.86% increase, rollback rate 3.9713. Villa Palms Light, MSTU, proposed 0.6950, that is a 7.05% increase, proposed or rollback rate of 0.6492. Villa Pines Light, MSTU, proposed 0.2955, increase of 9.57%, rollback rate 0.2697. Waterway Estates Light, MSTU, proposed 0.315, increase 28.47%, rollback rate of 0.2452. Waterway Shores Light, MSTU, proposed 1.3, increase 142.76%, rollback rate 0.5355. Whiskey Creek Improvement, proposed 0.9999, that is a 10.87% increase and a rollback rate of 0.9019. That is all.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Good start.
I'll hand it over to Pete.
The previously read fiscal year 2023-24 special unit taxing unit millages are proposed for tentative adoption. Any percentage in the proposed millage over the rollback rate reflected above is due to a combination of increased electric costs, additional landscaping, and other future projects. If no changes are made after public comment, only one motion to adopt will be required, as the resolution includes all of these taxing units.
Mr. Winton. At this time, the commission will be pleased to hear any citizens' comments concerning any of the budgets under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. So again, to reiterate to those members of the public who have come in following the opening of this hearing, this will be the only opportunity to comment on any of the budgets or all of the budgets that the Board of County Commissioners has authority over. There will be no other opportunity during this hearing to provide your comments. At this time, would anybody like to speak in public comment? All right, Mr. Ballard, come forward. If you would state your name for the record. Well, Pete, it's okay. Go.
Danny Ballard, North Myers Civic. I have a question on both the Port Edison and the Waterway Estates Light thing, that it was 100% increase. And so if I'm asked, I need to know if we know the reason why.
Okay, I'll ask that question for you. Thanks, Mr. Ballard. Any other comments you'd like to make? Okay, very good. At this time, would anybody else like to speak in public comment? Please come forward and state your name for the record. Well, wait till you get to the podium, please. That way we'll get everything on the mic. Appreciate it, though. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Brian Michi. I'm a Cape Coral resident. So I got my tax notice, and I saw that there's a first public, budget hearing. So I thought that's very interesting. I'd like to see, why there's a proposed millage increase with all the increased growth in the area, the increase in the tax assessments. So I'm a retired business owner, so I've been involved in a lot of budget meetings over the years. But almost every budget meeting I've been involved with talks about income and expense. And so far, all I've heard tonight is what the proposed millage increase is going to be. There's no reason why there's an increased millage. Is there another hearing where you get into more detail about, you know, the income of the county versus the expense of the county, you know, why these certain projects are being undertaken, which is causing the millage increase? So, I mean, I apologize if this isn't, you know, the right forum for that comment, but it's the first hearing I've been to, so. Is this the appropriate venue for that?
Typically, we don't engage in a question and answer, but I would certainly ask the questions on your behalf. If you'd like to conclude with any further comments, you have up to 3 minutes to be able to share them. And yeah, once the comments are concluded, I can ask a few questions on your behalf. That'd be great.
All right, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm just, again, if I summed it up, I'd say there's an awful lot of growth in value and number of people in the area. That should generate a lot of revenue without increasing millage. So I'd be curious to know why we have to increase millage when we have such a large increase in potential income otherwise.
Very good.
Right.
Was there, can I just ask before you leave, was there a specific millage line that was increased that you saw in your
Well,
Cape
just the
Coral?
notice that we receive, you know, it's each individual millage, it shows the proposed budget, and if the new budget is accepted, this is what the new millage will be.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a roughly 12% increase in the overall millage rate increase.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, does anybody else wish to speak in public comment? Last call for anybody else. This is the only time to speak in public comment tonight. Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time. Real quick, Mr. Winton, if I may, just to address a couple of the questions that were asked. First, let's talk about the millage. We're keeping the same millage rate on the items that the county controls, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so could you list out what items those are?
Yeah, that's going to be, if you're in one of the MSTBUs that Josh just read, that's going to be on your tax bill, and then it's going to be the general fund millage, the unincorporated MSTU millage, which would not apply to the city of Cape Coral, the library millage, which would apply to Cape Coral, and the all hazards millage.
So all four of those that you just listed are staying the same millage rates that they were last year. However, property values have gone up, is what you're saying, potentially?
Well, property values went up by 6.67%, but if you're homesteaded, your taxable value only went up by 3% because you have Save Our Homes protected. So, and then also, there were areas of the county that had, fairly significant decreases in tax base due to Hurricane Ian. So overall, countywide, the percentage went up, increase went up, but certain areas of the county suffered a decrease in taxable values.
Okay, and then I'll ask one more question on behalf of the speakers, and then Commissioners, I understand some of you have questions too. So the Port Edison Light MSTU was brought up, and the Waterway Shores Light MSTU was brought up. How did those figures come about?
The Port Edison Light, it does not have a committee. However, taxable values in that particular neighborhood decreased 33%, and LCC had a 10% increase in its rates. So that's the reason that went up. And I want to explain, based on the tax base in that area, that may not be any kind of significant increase on their tax bill. That's just to fund the operations of the lights, and the electric bill. Waterway Shores, it does have a committee. They voted to increase to build reserves. They want to expand services, and that's the reason for that. Okay. That's Waterway Shores Light.
And the committee voted on that?
And the committee voted yes. The committee voted on the millage rate.
Okay, great. Commissioners, what questions do you have or comments?
Commissioner Wang was.
Commissioner
I didn't know if anyone raised their hand first. So Pete, I mean, a couple things, and I appreciate your comments, sir. This is my 17th budget that I'm doing. So, Pete, a couple things just for clarification. I mean, this year is a really difficult year because we have cities within Lee County that obviously experience 30 and 40% negative. So the blend is somewhat deceiving when you look at that. Secondarily, homestead certainly is an issue. And third, there's many people where the exemptions equal to what their actual assessed value would be, so they're not paying a tax. So the blended tax is a little deceiving Unfortunately, if you're not homesteaded, you'll feel a greater increase. And unfortunately, as a county, we have the good and the bad. The bad would be Fort Myers Beach with a negative 40%, Sanibel with a negative 32%. So the blend is unfortunate because of the storm. But as long as I've been up here, you guys have either lowered the millage rate or kept it the same. And I did that in Sanibel as well. The problem in this year, if I understand, is just there's different facets than we've ever had before because of the storm. And the storm, unfortunately, makes this very complicated to say. I'm sure there are people there that, probably didn't receive anything. I had a neighbor that's with me from Sanibel, and her assessed value was 1.2, and from the storm, it's now 200,000. So her tax amount submitted to the county just went down some 600%. That, unfortunately, is one of the things that we have to balance for the people that are paying taxes. So the people that got hit hard, and representing District 1, I could indicate that 2/3 of the damage within Lee County are in my district. So it got annihilated, and unfortunately, that's the way you do adjust. There's a 3% homestead, correct?
Correct.
But when you have a decrease where your assessed value goes down by $1 million, you pay a lot less in taxes, not just the 3%. I mean, the 3% catches you on the upswing, and that's where it captures you if you're homestead. But if you have a decrease in value because of a storm, there's no cap on that. We obviously take the loss with that homeowner the entire way, and our taxes are greatly reduced from what we'll receive. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Pendergrass?
I was going to say, thank you, Commissioner Wayne. I was going to let you follow with them because that gentleman said he lives in Cape Coral. Maybe the gentleman from Cape Coral, if you could get with one of us after the meeting, we get more detailed information, and Commissioner Wayne or Commissioner Hammond covers Cape Coral. But either way, I don't know if you live in the city, you might be looking at county line, but we can be able to give you an explanation. But like Commissioner Wayne said, we've lowered the millage here at the last few years and did rollback weight. I think it was last year we did rollback weight. But you're getting the difference. Mine came, it was two different numbers, but they're about the same as it was last year. But like Commissioner Wayne said, the values could have, I'm not sure where you are on the Cape, but
I'd gladly meet you
Yeah,
after
but
the meeting. Happy-
either way, we haven't raised any millage, and that's what we're having this first hearing to set. This MSTU is what the community wants based upon their needs for the improvements of lighting or maintenance.
Any further comments then?
No, thank you.
Okay, and then just one last thing to wrap it up too, because I actually really like the comments about looking at the income versus the expenses. And we actually have adopted a couple of years ago a process of doing a series of workshops throughout the year. So we actually start back in February, putting the budget together, and we have a workshop on each individual part of the budget, and we kind of go through the income and the expenses and the upcoming processes too. And some of those could be watched online or on TV or in person, whichever is more convenient for you. And they're archived as well. So thank you very much for that comment. All right, and if there are no further comments, then commissioners, we'll move into the next portion of the agenda. This concludes the public comment segment of the hearing. And I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative millage resolution for the special taxing units.
I'll move that item.
Okay. Motion for approval from Commissioner Ruane and the seconds from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative budgets for the above stated special taxing units for fiscal year 23-24.
I'll move the item.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Ruane.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Greenwell. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. All right, I will now ask the Assistant County Manager and Chief Financial Officer to proceed with the countywide millages and budgets.
The proposed countywide millage is 3.7623 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of 3.3505 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage is a 12.29% increase from the rollback rate.
Okay, I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative countywide millage resolution.
Move the item.
Okay, Commissioner Pendergrass moves approval.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Greenwell. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative countywide budget for fiscal year 23-24.
I'll move the item.
Motion from Commissioner Ruane,
I'll second.
second from Commissioner Greenwell. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously.
The proposed Lee County Library millage is .4714 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of .4213 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage is a 11.89% increase from the rolled back rate.
Okay, I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative Lee County Library millage resolution.
I'll move the item.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Greenwell, second from Commissioner Ruane. Did I hear that first? Okay. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection, that motion carries unanimously. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative Lee County Library budget for fiscal year 23-24.
Move the item.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass, second from Commissioner Ruane. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection, that motion carries unanimously. Mr. Winton?
The proposed Lee County unincorporated area MSTU millage is .8398 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of .7506 mils per thousand of taxable value. The proposed millage is a 11.88% increase from the rollback rate.
Okay, I will now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative millage resolution for the Lee County unincorporated area MSTU. Motion for approval from Commissioner Sandelli, second from Commissioner Greenwell. Is there any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative budget for the Lee County unincorporated area MSTU for fiscal year 23-24. Motion for approval from Commissioner Sandelli, second from Commissioner Ruane. Any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. Mr. Winton?
The proposed Lee County All Hazards Protection District millage is .0693 mils per thousand taxable value compared to the rollback rate of .0617 mils per thousand of taxable value. This represents a 12.32% increase from the rollback rate.
Okay, I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative millage resolution for the Lee County All Hazards Protection District.
I'll make a motion to move the item.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion for approval from Commissioner Greenwell and the seconds from Commissioner Ruane. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative budget for the Lee County All Hazards Protection District.
Move the item.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Ruane,
Second.
second from Commissioner Greenwell. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. Mr. Winton?
Lee County, all other budgets for the board's adoption tonight make up the rest of the total county budget proposed for the next fiscal year. These are funds that are not supported by a millage and include significant operations such as utilities, solid waste, visitor and convention bureau, transit, toll facilities, and those budgets funded through grants from other entities. These budgets are included as part of the total Lee County budget and are detailed in the budget summary in your materials.
I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative Lee County all other budgets.
Move the item.
Okay, motion for approval from Commissioner Ruane, second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion on that? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. Mr. Winton?
In compliance with Florida statutes, this public hearing is being held on September 5th, 2023 for the purpose of the adoption of the tentative total Lee County budget for fiscal year 23-24, and the Board of County Commissioners has now adopted the tentative millage rates necessary to fund the budget. The proposed total Lee County budget for fiscal year 23-24, as shown in the budget summary reports, which outlines each fund and is made part of the budget resolution, is now being proposed for adoption as the tentative total Lee County budget of Lee County, Florida for fiscal year 23-24. And Commissioners, I'd like to put on the record at this point that the final budget hearing will be held September 19th at 5:05 p.m. in these chambers.
Okay, very good. I'll now ask for a motion to adopt the tentative total Lee County budget for fiscal year 23-24.
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Ruane. Second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion? Are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously, and I see no further business before us, so we are adjourned. Thank you.